الله أكبر الله أكبر.
In every nation's history, there are individuals who have made a significant impact on the society in which they live. William Henry Abdullah Quilliam did exactly that in the late 1800s and early 1900s in his native Liverpool. Yet despite his significance to the UK and recognition throughout the world for his great work and achievements, which include founding and leading one of the country's earliest Muslim communities and establishing what is reputed to be the country's first mosque, there is today still no permanent legacy to this remarkable man. William Henry Quilliam was born in 1856 in Liverpool. His father was a successful watchmaker and the family had a rich pedigree, and earlier John Quilliam had served as First Lieutenant with Lord Nelson aboard Victory. Quilliam studied at the Liverpool Institute, the college later to be attended by Paul McCartney and transformed into the Academy of Arts. He entered law and became a solicitor, building one of the largest and most successful practices in the north of England. It was on a visit to Morocco, recuperating from overwork, that Quilliam first encountered Islam, and on return to the UK at the age of 31, he became a Muslim and took the name Abdullah, which translates as servant of God. Abdullah did not regard his conversion to Islam as something to keep private, and on his return to Liverpool set about educating others on the principles and values of Islam. Abdullah's commitment to his new faith and his remarkable charisma helped develop a thriving Muslim community in Liverpool that grew to about 150 English converts, including members of his own family, prominent scientists and other professionals. In 1889, Abdullah purchased number 8 Brougham Terrace, a short distance from the city centre, and at the rear of the building created a prayer hall for the Muslim congregation, reputedly the first such facility in the country. It was here that the Crescent and Islamic World publications were printed on presses in the basement. Muhammad Akbar Ali is chairman of the Abdullah Quilliam Society and is committed to re-establishing an Islamic institute at Brougham Terrace.
This used to be the main prayer hall where the congregations assembled, and Sheikh Abdullah used to give his lectures from, I think, from that direction, facing the congregation. And there perhaps was an extension beyond that wall, which we are going to demolish that wall and extend this hall further down in that direction, so that we can have ablution rooms and an entrance to the prayer hall from the courtyard, so that we will have 2 entrances, one from the courtyard for those who come just for the prayers, and one from this side for people who work here and visitors who want to say their prayers. And we are just standing at the entrance to the prayer hall.
And I've seen the pictures of an archway and a desk and an organ, I think. And was that in this particular part?
Yes, as far as I know, the archway was over there, and the organ would be in this corner here. And as you know, we don't have any music in our prayers, but this, I believe, was a concession made by Abdullah Quilliam for this new congregation, because they're all indigenous white Christians originally, and they were converted into Islam. And they were quite used to singing hymns along with the music. So he said, right, you can have the organ, but after the prayers, not during the prayers. And I suppose they used to sing some hymns here.
Abdullah Quilliam's work was soon to be recognised internationally. He was conferred with the honour of Sheikh ul-Islam of the British Isles by the Sultan of Turkey, the only man to have ever held this title, which was also acknowledged by the Emir of Afghanistan. The Sultan of Morocco made him an alim, and the Shah of Persia appointed him as his consul. With funding assistance from the Emir of Afghanistan, Quilliam was able to add numbers 9 and 10 Brown Terrace, and the institute quickly became a major hub of learning and support. There was a boarding school for boys and a day school for girls, a library and science laboratory. Classes and the weekly debating and literary society were open to Muslim and non-Muslims alike. Patricia Gordon is Abdullah's granddaughter and remembers her grandfather with great fondness.
He was an all-rounder. He never ever sort of shut off the other religions. He was always open to all religions. You know, he respected every religion. He never sort of condemned a religion. He thought, if somebody believes in it and they're sincere, that's good enough for me. So you never heard him say a bad word about any other religion, even though he was Muslim himself and he'd converted. He just thought, well, you know, to each his own, and if they're sincere, that's good enough.
It feels like he's almost a man ahead of his time, because
Oh, he was.
Do you think there are important lessons that we can learn from the way that he conducted his life back then?
Yes, I think there are really. I think that the lessons we can learn was that he was a sturdy individualist, and he carried out things that were for the community, that were for the better. And I think those are the things we can learn, because he did an awful lot of good for people in Liverpool and people generally in England, you know, and I think that there should be more people like him that are prepared to give themselves to the community and to their country and to whatever, to improve them. And he always wanted to improve things. Yes, he was a very charitable man. He just did. He couldn't bear to think that somebody was sort of not having a few advantages. So he took over 2 houses in Liverpool, and they were
Brown Terrace.
Yes, and they were for orphan children. They were orphanages, and he had people teach them, and he did that at his own expense. You know, that was very important to him, that children had advantages, because in those days there was a lot of poverty in Liverpool, you know, being a port and the sailors' children and everything. So he just thought, well, at least give them a bit of schooling or do something for them. So he opened these orphanages for them.
In this building, I suppose they had the school, day school for girls, and perhaps in the next building, number 9 or perhaps number 10, they had the boarding school for boys.
And do you hope in the future to be able to offer any of the same sort of teaching?
Well, I don't think we will establish any school here, but it will be education-based, the cultural organisation.
Abdullah Quilliam and the Institute at Brown Terrace are of major significance to the United Kingdom. It was here that Quilliam established the country's first mosque and created an institute that reached out to the wider community of Liverpool. He faced prejudice and ignorance, but strived to raise awareness of Islam whilst working hard to support the needs of the children and adults alike, Muslim and non-Muslim. The principles and personal values that Abdullah Quilliam applied during his lifetime are as important today as they were at the end of the 19th century, and we cannot afford to forget or ignore the work of Sheikh Abdullah Quilliam in striving for community cohesion.
We want to do all the fundraising during this year, inshallah. Before the end of the year, we should have substantial sum of money. And then next year, that's 2007, will be spent in reconstruction and repairs and refurbishment. And we hope to be ready to declare this place open to coincide with Liverpool's becoming the European capital of culture. And that will be our contribution to the city of Liverpool, the birthplace of Sheikh Abdullah Quilliam. And I don't think there can be any more fitting tribute to his name, his memory, and also our contribution to the city of Liverpool.
Please support the work of the Abdullah Quilliam Society and help re-establish an Islamic institute at the site of the country's first mosque, a permanent legacy to the work of Abdullah Quilliam and to show the true spirit of Islam, a gentle, peaceful and moderate faith which gives dignity and equality to both men and women alike.